Hello, my truth warriors. I just got back from my first meeting with a legislator. Got on the schedule with Representative Woodall. He's in District 7 of Georgia, and had some beautiful ladies, mothers, join me. And we had a great meeting. He gave us a full half an hour of his time, which we were very gracious for. I was excited that we had 4 different generations of women show up to speak on this situation at hand. Basically, we went urging them to watch the movie Vaxxed, to get Dr. Thompson subpoenaed, and just to keep our health freedom in mind, make sure that we don't get any mandates, and stop the overreach of government when it comes to our health and medical things. So he was very receptive. He was very open. What a great guy. I really am thankful to have him as my representative and to have given him my vote. It was well deserved. So a couple of things. This was my first time meeting with a legislator, so learning experience. There were some nerves and some excitement, and I felt like I had a lot on my shoulders because I was going there to represent all of us, and the future generations and the truth. So just went with an open heart and an open mind and with kindness. I really didn't have the time that I would have liked to be prepared, and to be polished, but I don't know that that's really me anyways. So I guess my first bit of advice is be yourself, and be open and be positive, and you will get that in return. So secondly, dealing with legislators. I guess that's their profession. That's what they do best. That's how they understand, and that's how they make moves, is through law and legally. So their mind frame, they don't want to sit there and hear about the stories and what we think isn't true, or ideas or thoughts. They need to know what can they do, what moves can they make in their legislation to help us, and to get us the freedom that we deserve. So I wish I had had that angle a little bit more in prepping. I don't really have a legal background or a political background, but I would have been happy to do, the research and try to figure out, what would have made sense to present to him. And when you think about it, it does make sense. It's kind of like, don't come to me with the problem, come to me with the solution. And so it needs to be a solution on their terms. So I took away a lot of notes, and he kind of helped us get to that point. But, it took longer. We weren't able to cover as much information because we were so busy kind of getting those steps that he needed to take out. That's what he needed to leave that meeting with, was action items. And the ones that I had given him, I guess, weren't what he was looking for. So basically, he explained that he thinks that the Congress did look at the information from the whistleblower and made a decision that there wasn't an investigation needed. I find that hard to believe. I looked him straight in the eye and urged him and pleaded him to watch the Vaxxed movie, which we're going to get a link sent over. I got to contact my Vaxxed ATL ambassador and get that email link to him ASAP and to his office. So I'm hoping he really holds to his word on that, because he looked at me and he said he would. So I'm going to trust that for right now. And once he sees that, there's no going back. Y'all know that already. You guys have seen it probably. And if not, you need to. So I would say, go with action items. I've got him to watch the movie. He's going to look into why we don't get the informed consent at the doctor's office. He's going to look into why we don't get the vaccine inserts at the doctor's office. I told him my story about when I asked for a vaccine insert, how I was given a CDC flyer. And, I paralleled it with the pharmaceutical products, and he even brought it up himself, that when he goes to take a Tylenol or his, medication that he has to take, it comes with a big, long, list of warnings. And, we read those and understand those as part of, the benefit that we get from, taking that drug. And I explained to him that's great, but, in the vaccine current process, as patients, we're not getting that. We're not getting that opportunity to make that decision. And there's a real problem there, especially when the mandates become involved, extremely. And, when you think about the Nuremberg Code, I mean, we need to have informed consent on anything that's going into our body. And we need to understand and be educated before we say, yes, that's cool. I'm willing to take that risk for that benefit. And we need to be told the true benefits. So, this is something we discussed. So he's going to go and look into that, getting that mandated, that we get our vaccine insert at the doctors when they're talking about it or wanting to administer it. What was the next thing he had? He also is going to go back to the oversight committee and look into why this whistleblower, really wasn't investigated, and see and just make sure that there wasn't somebody putting pressure, a foot on somebody's neck, and see if he can have any type of a influence on pushing that further, and at least finding out and being able to report back to me what is their reasoning behind not subpoenaing Dr. William Thompson, because I can't imagine that they didn't find issues with what was presented. We've seen it. We've seen it on the movie, and the studies are available. We've seen doctors flip from vaccine supporters to go in anti-vax because of what they found in these studies, that they threw away this data. So that was kind of hard to believe, but I'm glad he's going to go back and hold them accountable and follow back up with me and let me know. And then what else do we have? I thought there was another item as well. I think he was going to... I'm gonna have to get my list. I should have come prepared. He did have something else that he was going to take away and do. Oh, he was going to look into studies. That's right. So we questioned a lot. That's another good tip. Ask questions. See what they know. Find out where they lie on these issues, and what their education level is on it. What they've been told versus what maybe they need to hear. And I got a lot of these tips. By the way, I have to thank a bunch of the leaders that I reached out to. That I'll shout out Irene. I got to shout out Michelle and Sandy. I actually had quite a few people. I reached out to a few others that I hadn't heard from, and that's okay. Everybody's busy. But I just appreciate the feedback, because it really did help me going in. Asking questions is key. You were right. So when we asked him if he knew that the vaccine schedule had grown from, whatever it was when I was a kid, 10 shots or whatever, to 70-something vaccines currently, he looked a little surprised by that information. He was a little appalled, and I'm kind of glad, because this is the kind of awakening that they need to have to start digging. That's all you need. Plant that seed, plant that little acorn, and before you know it, a beautiful, healthier tree will grow. So those are all the items that he's going to walk away with and do. He's going to look into, are there studies on the long-term effect of 70-something, the current vaccine schedule? And I think we all know he's going to come back to the table and find out, no, there are not. And we don't really know if we are trading, the perceived idea of immunity against natural diseases for man-made risk of the man-made diseases, which, as we can see right now with the numbers, the skyrocketing, autism, and all the myriad list of other things. I can't even go through everything that the vaccine, brings with risks. But, are we willing to trade this for the other? And whose decision is that to make? That's a really important question. And, governmentally, from his angle, it sounded like, they are, willing to take the risk and make sure that the public health is safe and what they think is safe, versus this perceived, man-made issue, which apparently they don't understand even exists. So we just need to get them to start awakening and opening their mind. And today, I think it was a step in the right direction for my congressman. I'm going to beg and plead that you start taking some action. You do the same. Go out, rally up some people. I know it takes time, it's hard, but if I can do it, you can do it. And it's really motivating. It's a really positive situation that you feel like you're a part of making change. And I would urge you to go ahead, contact your congressman or your congresswoman, and get your group of local health freedomers that are all constituents together and let your voice be heard. And you never know. Let's see what happens. We do this across the nation. Maybe they'll realize that there's something here that needs to be looked into a little bit closer. So I think I've went on enough, but I wanted to share with you while it was fresh in my mind all of the things that happened at the great meeting. And I will report back to you if and when I get feedback. I'm going to be following up with him with the email, and I'm going to be mailing him in his office, thank you cards and some vaxxed cards with information. And let's see where this goes. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day.